Hello and welcome back to another week of the DP World Tour Picks and Bets. Skylar Hoke joined here stateside by my friend Ryan Baroff. Tom is off on a holiday over in Europe. So, RB, how are we doing today?
Good, man. Just a couple of Americans talking some crayons this week.
Hey, PGA Tour's off for a couple weeks. All it is Ryder Cup discussion. I guess high level, I know we'll go quick here with the show, but high level, what are your thoughts for Ryder Cup right now?
Yeah, I mean, on the Euro side, Rasmus getting in really changes a lot. Obviously, he takes one of the automatic qualifying spots, which potentially, would put maybe a Shane Lowry on the fence now. I still think it's going to be the same team, just with the other Højgaard. But look, if Norn wins again, Marco Penge wins again, if Aaron Rai wins this week, I think there's going to be a couple tough decisions for Luke Donald next week. And then on the American side, I think it's pretty much settled. I don't know if that last spot is going to Burns or Colin Morikawa. It seems like Keegan is playing. It seems like Young is in. It seems like Cantlay is now in. So it's probably Burns or Colin for that last spot.
Yeah, I mean, I still think there's a chance Keegan bows out just for the sake of it. I think he should play personally, but
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. And I'm disappointed on the DP World Tour side. I guess I would rather have Rasmus get selected versus earn it, because I think there's other guys that are probably this field, and the odds board itself tells the story that there are other guys that are right there on the direct line. I mean, his brother is priced shorter than him in the market this week, right? So I think it's a natural transition over to the most beautiful event that we get to host on the DP outside of the Magical Kenya Open. This is probably the second one when it comes to, the nature surrounding the beautiful mountains and, a fun course that we've gotten to play and see, for the years over in Crans. Now, to your point, we are getting kind of a stud level when it comes to not having any PGA Tour events, having guys gearing up or fighting for that. Is this the last week of point, or I guess before they make the decision? No points, right?
Yeah, correct. No points. Just captain's picks Monday morning after this one. Look, I think there's only a couple guys here. It's probably Ryan Noren are the two that I have on my radar as if they win this week. I don't know how you don't take Alex Noren off of back-to-back wins. He's been on teams before. I think that's one that's going to be very interesting this week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. And I guess we can go right into the top of the board. I mean, from a course fit perspective, I mean, overall, I think it kind of limits. I mean, we've seen Aubert win here. We've seen Rory play well. But, I mean, I do think it limits the driving power that possesses more of a ball striker's course, more of an accuracy-driven type of thing. And with a lot of power at the top of the board, is there anybody you're specifically leaning into or feel like they can over or still play at that level? I mean, I was definitely taking a few looks at Nikolai, probably would have been the one for me. I mean, Rai deserves to be kind of that 16-1 spot. I felt like that was pretty, generous in a sense too, but Fitzy's the clear one at 9-1. Is there anybody here that you're intrigued by?
I did take Nikolai, probably for a lot of the same reasons as you. Runner-up last week. He has played this golf course pretty well. He got a 29th and a 5th. Obviously, has a lot to play for. He was in Rome. His brother is now going to be at Bethpage, and I'm sure he will be motivated to get a pick because he wants to play with his brother. But I think he was the best. I don't love the 18-1. He feels like a guy who should be 20 or 22, but I have the most faith in his form right now and his motivation right now. I do think Aaron Rai, is very worthy of a look here. I'm just not betting him at 14-1.
Yeah, I struggled. I think you can make a lot of arguments for all of these guys, and that's kind of how I felt the last 2 weeks with these guys at the top of the board. I still think I would love to see Penge in Bethpage personally. He would fit the course unbelievably. I think he's going to do amazing things next year on the PGA Tour. But ultimately, I didn't think the Belfry was that great for him either. And through 54 holes, felt like he could definitely find himself up there, win again. But I'm drifting way down the leaderboard. I mean, the only one. And I say way 50 being where I'm starting at.
Yep.
Any of the guys non DP World Tour guys. So a Paul Casey, a Wyndham Clark, a Patrick Rogers, any of those guys catch your eye?
No, I mean, Paul Casey's been playing better, but not at 22-1 in a field like this. If he was close to 40, probably consider it. Hate this golf course for Wyndham Clark. Like, he'll probably be fine clubbing down, but just not a good course for his skill set. So no, I'm with you. After I click Nikolai, and then I'm down mid to long range with you the rest of the way.
Yeah, I'm hard pressed to think Wyndham isn't way more talented than where he's priced, especially how he ended the year. But again, I don't think it is the best course setup. If we get him, are we going to get him more than once? Probably down the stretch. We'll probably get him. If he's playing this, he's probably playing others, right?
He's probably playing the Irish, and he's probably playing BMW, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Maybe next week I would be intrigued at. Wentworth is, tight too. So that'll be difficult on his skill set. But I think the lack of respect at 50-1 for Sammy Valimaki is where my eyes first were drawn. Valimaki, again, to the power standpoint, he is not somebody who is going to be doing really much off of the tee. It really comes for him from, can those irons get hot, and how well will his short game deliver? I mean, ultimately, it was kind of a ho-hum T8. I think he was kind of out of the picture after the first round at the Danish Golf Championship, and then kind of rallied, with 3 straight rounds under 70. But the irons were there. The putter was there. He had just came off the T34 at the Wyndham. Did he do more than what I would have thought he would have on the PGA Tour this year? Maybe. Like, we're Valimaki fans. We've kind of been on his bandwagon since that early win at the Oman. But to me, he's just closer to the rest of the guys than the way he gets priced. And ultimately, a mediocre PGA Tour year, I don't think discredits the way he stands right now.
Yeah, I definitely look there, 0 for 2 here, making the cut. And I just think about like where we like to rip him, like at Mexico and things like that. And this is just the opposite golf course. So yes, I do think he is underpriced. I also think I'm going to pass just based on the course fit. But yeah, played well when we were on him a couple weeks ago.
Now, so okay, with no Valimaki, so I think you're deeper. Are we aligned on the next one? Is that your first pick outside of there, or where are you next?
So next for me, a couple guys at 60.
Okay.
So Baby Fitz, Alex Fitzpatrick, and Keita Nakajima. I'm a huge Nakajima fan. Been, not a great year for him. Been more inconsistent than he usually is. But I just love him on these style of courses. We saw it last week. Played well. I think it was 4th last week. He won in India at the Hero India Open last year, and then finished runner-up there again this year. So kind of these sort of tricky, tight golf courses, obviously coming from Japan, they play on this style quite a bit. Lots of elevation, lots of trees, small greens, things like that. I'm just a big fan of the talent. And at 60-1, like, I feel like he should be like 40 in this field. So I clicked him. And then Baby Fitz, he also played great last week, was in the top 10. Loves this golf course. He's a much better player than he's been. I believe he has back-to-back top 6 finishes here each of the last 2 years. So, just felt like 60 was a good number for somebody who seems like he's gearing up for that first win.
Yeah, definitely a couple flashes of him lately. The course history does seem to be a little sticky around this course too at Crans. So to your point with it. And yeah, Nakajima, I was thinking about him a lot yesterday. And I mean, we bucket, I think, the golfers that are dominating in Asia quite a bit. And it often feels like they've left a little bit to at least really flourish. Kanaya came on a little bit more at the end of the PGA Tour year, but I think when we thought of Nakajima getting his card last year, it was like he's a surefire PGA Tour player 12 months from now. And I mean, I guess a strong end of the year, he could still probably find himself up there.
Yeah, he was a borderline top 50, top 60 player in the world last year at his peak. I don't know what happened, but he really struggled most of this year and seems to be starting to find a little bit more form. So again, like, I'm just going to buy the talent on somebody who I expect to be on the PGA Tour moving forward.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. We talk about consistency. We talk about somebody who's just hit a ton of irons, finished consistently between like T9 and T16 basically, and never making
which is
us
not
money.
good for us.
No, yet we bet him every time he tees it up, and it's
Yeah.
Oliver Lindell, right? I mean, Oliver Lindell,
Yeah.
if you look at the stat profile, you cover up the name, that
Yeah.
is what you bet. You know what I mean? A consistent iron player, somebody who I think probably does his best work when you're not asking him much at all off of the tee. Because I mean, he is, I would probably say bad in that category, basically, right? I mean, from what it was, found his way into the mix at the Nexo, followed it up again at the Danish Golf Championship after a really good Open. I don't know. If he can be accurate without any distance, I'm okay with that in crayons here. And the irons and putter have just been way better. The putter especially has been way better the last 5 weeks. And I just going to rely on that iron play.
I'm with you. Like, I think it's definitely a course where off the tee game isn't as important as long as you're not, spraying it everywhere. And he definitely doesn't, he doesn't hit every single fairway, but he's more accurate than most and obviously not long off the tee. My only concern with him again is just, can he win? We saw this last year on the Challenge Tour where he finished the season with 8 straight top 9 finishes with 0 wins, and had a couple of top 5s. He had a couple runner-ups. Like, he just hasn't gotten across the line, which is a little bit concerning. But like you said, putter, iron play is exactly what we're looking for this week. And he was as long as 80-1 this morning, which for a guy with back-to-back top 10 finishes just seems way too big.
Yeah, I'm very much kind of that path for him. And again, I mean, if we're living in a world that Tommy Fleetwood is a tour champion right now, I mean, anything can happen after
Tommy wins. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, the floodgates are open for guys of this. So if I look into next guy on my list, let me double check here. Yeah, I'm into triple digits for you. Yeah, you as well, right? So
we're all done with the main card. Let's go to the long shot.
Oh yeah, and we align on 2 of them. So I'll go into my 2 that I'm solo on, and I think you see the argument for both of them. I'm going back to the well with Jason Scribner. I just think from a standpoint of methodical Aaron Rai style golf of hit the fairway, hit the green, 2-putt quite frequently. It's Scribner. He comes off of a really good Sunday. You'll appreciate a last good round leading into there. I think it finished, 25th last week. Last year at the Omega was 4th. And I mean, Scribner probably is of that boat of, hey, a solid player who just hasn't won, right? Hasn't really done all that much when it comes to contention, really. But, the T10 at the Barracuda kind of got my eyes on him. And then it's just consistency of iron play and accuracy is what I really look for, at this course. And that's Scribner.
Yeah. And he's played well here. He putts pretty well here, which is a good sign. But like you said, the only concern with him is just not being able to get across the line. I feel like we've been doing this dance with him for almost a decade now. He's got 1 win in Australia. That's it as a professional, he's going on 20 years now. So I don't know, but definitely a good guy for like a top 10, top 20 bet this week.
And it's hard because I don't want to sit here and say I'm betting for places, because realistically, on Saturday night last week, I went to bed thinking Cameron Adam was going to win for us at 600-1. And I genuinely believe like those situations can happen. But there is a ton of win equity split among 7 golfers sub 25-1. So in some ways, I am very okay with the top 5, top 10 approach down the board for some of these guys in these stronger field events. And hopefully you make some noise. And realistically, the one when I, have this event kind of from a course history standpoint that comes to mind every single time is Guido Migliozzi owns it here. Outside of winning, the guy has just shown up and played phenomenal. I think it's 3 top 12s, 2 top 10s last year included for Guido. Now looking his lead-in form into the events, I guess years as a whole were much better than this year. Right. I mean, the T7 in 2021, that was after a few weeks after his 4th at the US Open. Right. In 2023, he finished 13th here. That year was probably the most similar, a couple pop-up big events, but overall, outside of making the cut at the Open and the Genesis, he really hadn't done much. And that's kind of the year comparison for me. Last year, obviously, much, much better for Guido, but he was kind of still cold. And then he comes in T8s. And again, this year has been bad. I mean, 5, 6 straight miscuts until last week where he popped on the leaderboard, right? A Guido flash gets us going.
Yeah, I mean, we know kind of the thesis with Guido. He's got certain courses, usually these club down narrow courses that he does well on. Obviously has as much, if not more, win equity than anybody in this range. But yeah, like you said, it's been a bad year. He flashed last week with the putter. I typically like to chase his spike iron weeks, but you are the Guido whisperer, so I'm not going to talk you out of that.
I mean, to your point, though, it wasn't like it was a ball striking feast. He really, I think outside of Kabori almost stole that event with like back-to-back 60-footers late. Outside of Kabori, Guido made the most distance of putts.
Why is Kabori not playing this week? He was going to be first on my card this week. But he's not here, so.
Yeah, so Guido's was all short, but also his Omega history is very much putter driven too. So I just think any sort of life for Guido, which was a good Thursday, a good Sunday, I'm okay with him, especially at this number. I haven't bet him in a long time. Everyone knows every week he was on the card, short of 40-1. Now triple digits with some life. I'm willing to dip the toes back in.
And like by a long time, you mean like 8 weeks or so?
Yeah. I don't even. I mean, it was definitely summer. So
yes.
Okay, so we're aligning on 2 golfers.
Let's
go with the one that maybe we can tell some story on recent play about before the other one.
So why don't you take that
Bryant,
one?
Right?
Yeah,
Davis Bryant is just a good golfer this year. I mean, like I think we had high expectations for him. I mean, we fall in love with these American golfers who go try to make it work overseas, who have, maybe a track record on mini tours or even, amateur days. Like that's kind of a golfer who at least stays relevant in our minds. And Davis Bryant was the king of that last summer, right? Our guy, Ryan French, Monday Q Info, was all over Bryant, just ripping it up last year on the mini tours, gets through Q school. And I think we were betting him right off the rip, right? Which meant in Mauritius, I'm pretty sure Bryant had a really good first round. 69 on that Thursday, which was like inside the top 10. Faded, but it was like, okay, like maybe we've got something in Bryant this year. And then it went cold until he popped down onto the Challenge Tour where he had 2 top 10s in 3 starts, and then had 2 top 10s back to back on the DP World Tour, Italian Open, BMW. We thought he would win the ISCO, missed the cut, but then he comes out at the Nexo Championship inside the top 10 headed into Sunday, and then a T13 at the Belfry last week. Isn't a player who's going to gain ever with distance, but he can be accurate. And last week, his irons, I believe, were the best that he's had all year long. So I think very encouraging for Davis Bryant.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. We talked about Cameron Adam last week leading the field and approach. Aaron Rai was second. Davis Bryant was third. So he certainly spiked last week. And yeah, I mean, year-long stats, he is 9th in driving accuracy and top 20 in greens and regulation. So you talk about that. You talk about the spike weeks. You talk about the form. I mean, he's like 300-1. So I don't need much for me to go on 300.
And he's somebody, if you're listening right now, like go bet it immediately. Stop the show and bet it, because he's 100-1 in some spots. I think 300 was the longest. 250s are still around. So I think run to the window with a Davis Bryant bet because he's going to be popular.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So potentially of the last decade, your favorite golfer that exists, is back.
Nice to have him back. We don't know. So he has had some back injuries the last couple of years.
Let's preface. This is Alexander Bjork that we're talking about.
Alexander Bjork, best iron player in the world, right? I need to get more information. I was talking to Coley this morning. He thinks it may have been more mental health related than actual, his back. But yes, he did have some back injuries that he was coming back from. But absolutely a guy who loves this golf course. Perfect fit for this golf course. He finished second to Ludwig. Is that right? Do I have that right? He was part of that, or maybe not. But he's been in contention here a handful of times. Obviously, he hits it about $185 off the tee, which is okay here because he hits every single fairway. Runner up to Ludwig also has a 12th, 16th, 13th, 16th here. Yes, the risk is that he hasn't played golf in 8 months, but also if he had, he'd be 40-1 here. So at 200-1 or 225-1, whatever's out there still, perfect course fit. But definitely a guy who I would probably stick with top 20, top 30, top 40 this week, but you and I could not resist.
No, definitely not at 200. Because like the best way I could compare it was if we were lucky, you would have gotten like a Matteo Manacero type of odds on him, which was 66-1 after a year on the PGA Tour that saw not much at all, kind of what Bjork did the year before. And again, I scoured everything. So if you go to his like social media pages, you can get his Twitter, his Instagram, Facebook. He's got a website himself that hasn't been updated in 12 plus months. Like there is literally nothing except there's Instagram stories of him on the range right now at Crans seeming positive. So I saw that he took a mental health break, I think last summer, just decided to take a month off. So maybe there could be some of that. And again, the last event he played, he did finish T8 at the Ras Al Khaimah. He had made 3 straight cuts to start the year. So definitely some weird things. I think of straight positive vibes coming back to a course you've excelled at is the best recipe. And again, 200-1, you are exactly
it's a crazy
right. I mean,
number.
It's 5 times the odds what we probably get if he played a normal year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was 33-1 here last year, and we probably bet him, right? I probably bet him. So
yeah. If I look, right, you could see him. Yeah. I mean, we'll have historic odds. Let me double check here. Bjork. Yeah, I mean, there was 50s at one point. If you look at the year, he finished runner up to there. He was 22-1 2 years ago at this event when he finished second to Levitt.
So he's 10 times. So 10 times the number. So,
and if he just played on the DP World Tour this year and had a normal year, which he would have clearly off of the start, I mean, I think that's the wildest price that exists this week.
Sure.
And I had a lot of other interest at the long shots, but he was the one that was like, okay, like I could talk myself into stories about Kiradech Aphi-Barnrat, about Marcel Snyder, about some of these guys that are showing some recent form that they haven't shown the ceilings of what Bjork has. So that's how I wrap up my card. Now, respect to you. You are the one coming here with a 4-digit amateur this week. So the floor is yours, Baroff.
Yeah. For the 3rd week in a row, we're just going wild here. I believe it's pronounced Michael Myaseth. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he is, he is a Norwegian amateur, went to Arizona State. He is still at Arizona State. I believe he's going into his junior year. So popped on my radar recently at the Big 12 championships where he finished 3rd, obviously behind Preston Stout. But he was tied with Wolfgang Glaw. He beat Ballester. He beat Ethan Fang. He beat Philip Jakovic. All those guys were in there. And he actually won the Norwegian Amateur a week ago. I'm sure it was a terrible field, but he did win that last week. Also won the Norwegian National Golf Championship back in 2022, which our guy Mats Ege won it in 2023, and Andreas Halverson won it in 2021. So obviously some pedigree in that event. But yeah, I just think it's a crazy number. Like, we love betting these kids. Obviously, I would take as many places as you can get on there. But he's popped. He won the European Young Masters in 2019 over Ballester. He lost in the final of the Spanish Amateur in 2022 to our guy John Goff. So he's played these amateur guys pretty evenly for his whole career. He did miss the cut recently over here. Believe it was in Denmark.
Danish. The Danish golf.
At 1,500-1, like, let's just buy the talent now and hopefully get a top 20 sweat again, like we had with Cam Adam.
Yeah, I mean, that's the antithesis. I mean, the entire the thesis of the play, right, is exactly what kind of came out last week. Is you get a glimpse of one of these guys against top tier talent. And you hope they string it together a little bit more. And it was 54 holes. It was probably realistically like 36 holes for Cameron Adam, that he had that. And again, 1,500-1. I mean, we have so much life of this podcast left before we're held responsible for hitting one of those, There's so much time.
Yeah, I mean, I like that he's been here for a few weeks. Like, he's now played 3 straight weeks in Europe, and that includes the win at home. So, should be comfortable here. Like, probably too strong a field for him to actually win. But, like, I don't know if we actually thought Cam Adam was going to contend last week, and he was almost in the final pairing on Sunday. So,
and we have to chase him down for his next start. If you post numbers like that on IMG, not like Caddy or random, like legit now Open Championship hop, and then to lead that field in irons, he needs to work off the tee. Like, we need to not be sweating, a waiting lie from the rough, but
he was wild. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this guy's triple the price of that. Like, we thought like 500 to 1 was crazy. This is 1,500 to 1. So I'm going to ladder that every possible way that I can.
Yep. And you still have a month left of baseball season to mix in some parlays with those ladders too. So shout out Tigers. Guards are Tigers at this point.
Yes.
If for those watching YouTube, that's a Cleveland Browns hat. If you want to know where Ryan's rooting interest is for the next what? Maybe I'll give it 6 weeks for you guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be 0-5, so it's going to go quick. Yes.
Let's review the card here if you can, and we'll close it out.
Sure. So started with 18 to 1 on Nikolai Højgaard, 60 to 1 on Alex Fitzpatrick and Keita Nakajima, 80 to 1 on Ollie Lindell for about the 10th week in a row. And then 200 to 1, Alex Bjork, 300 to 1, Davis Bryant, and 1,500 to 1, Michael Myasev.
Beautiful. All right. So I'm going with live prices at this moment. Baroff wakes up extra early on Monday mornings. Sammy Valimaki, 50 to 1. Oliver Lindell, 70 to 1. Jason Scrivener, 120. Guido Migliazzi, 150. Alexander Bjork, 200 to 1. Davis Bryant, 250. So thank you, RB. Appreciate you joining. I'll make sure to give a shout out to all of the audio listeners. You can find us on Daily Fantasy Sports, Picks and Bets, The Mix, available across Mayo Media Network platforms. Super appreciative of all the love and comments that we get on there, including the ones saying that we just tail Ryan Baroff's card. Clearly we collaborate. We're in the lab together at times. So love having you on, RB, as always, and best of luck this week. A great stretch run on the DP World Tour. August, September, October are just the best times to be a DP World Tour guy.
Yeah, 4 straight weeks here, right?
Yeah,
we have 3 or 4 straight weeks. So.
And I love swing season to close out the year too. It's when we get a lot of fun to have those guys come.
I think you even have Brooks playing next week, by the way, the Irish Open. So
okay. We'll have some fun. Well, I appreciate you popping on early here.
Yes,
best of luck, and then we'll catch you guys all soon. Take care. Good luck, everybody.
See you, bud.